So in this first one, what kind of triangle is this? Isosceles. So this is similar to the example we did up on the other side of the paper. So if it's isosceles, the base angles are equal. So that means which angles are going to be the same?
X and Y.
X and Y, thank you. That's probably the best way to describe them. X and Y are going to be equal. Now, this one's a little bit trickier because I can't just set the X and Y equal to each other because they have variables in them. So any thoughts on how we can figure this out? Yes, Sam?
52 from 180 and
Very good. So he said subtract 52 from 180 and we get 128. That's what's going to make up these two angles together. So let's break that in half. So they're each going to be 64 degrees. So they each will be 64 there. So we have to find X and Y by setting each of those to equal to 64. So move the 20 over here. And just so you guys know, they won't always be the same. This is a weird coincidence that they end up being the same value. Even though they're the same angle, they should both equal 64, but the variables don't have to be the same. I kind of don't like that they have that. So we end up with both X and Y being 11. Now the next triangle is what type? It's an equilateral. We have the two 60s. That means that we're only left to be 60 for this last one. But the angles they're not asking us anything about the angles. They're asking us about the side lengths. What do I know about all the side lengths? They're equal, so they're all equal to 4. So I'm going to set up equations figuring out what they're each going to equal. Oops, if I could write the correct equation. So 2y plus 6 is going to equal 4. And also 5y, or 5x minus 3 is also going to equal 4. So they all should equal 4. Now this happened on the last test where our variable ended up being a negative. I think that threw some of you guys off. Don't let that bother you. If the number still works when you substitute it back in, you're fine. So don't let the negative scare you. Same thing with the decimal. Oh, that should be x, sorry, I changed it to y. So x is 7/5 or 1.4. Okay. And then our last one is kind of similar to the questions we did before. So they give us some information about these triangles. And we want to figure out like what angles are the same or what sides are the same depending on what they give us. So they tell me HG equals HK. What angles have to be the same then? What angles would have to be the same? Yep, so this G and this K. Technically that K we should use 3 letters for it because it is there's more than one angle there, so I'm going to call that HKG. And G is fine because there's only the one angle at G. So I'm going to be a little more specific there. And then finally, and then like I said, we'll do a scrimmage after this. KHJ. KHJ is here. And then KJH is here. So if those angles are the same, what two sides have to be the same? You see it? HK and KJ.